When your eyes open in the morning, take a moment before the world rushes in, before the noise of notifications, the pull of obligations, the weight of everything you think you need to do. Pause. Breathe, because this moment right here is sacred. You didn't wake up by accident. You didn't just drift into consciousness like a machine booting up. You were allowed to wake up, given another sunrise, another shot, another breath in this world. That's not something to take for granted. Some people went to sleep last night and didn't open their eyes this morning. Their time here ended. But yours didn't. You were chosen in a quiet, invisible way to rise again. That means something. That means there is still something inside you that this world needs. It means the universe, or God, or fate, or whatever higher force you believe in, looked at you and said, "I'm not finished with you yet, so don't start the day with complaints. Don't open your eyes and let your first thoughts be worry, or anger, or laziness. Don't let the first words you speak be bitterness or boredom. Instead, tell yourself, I am awake for a purpose, not by accident, not by routine, but by intention. You were not just born to exist. You were born to live, to grow, to move something forward. Maybe it's your family. Maybe it's your community. Maybe it's your own spirit that's been waiting too long in silence. Whatever it is, it needs you to show up today. And showing up doesn't always mean some big dramatic act. Sometimes it means staying consistent, choosing discipline over comfort, choosing truth over ease, choosing love over ego. Even the smallest act, done with the right intention, becomes sacred. Your purpose isn't hiding in some far-off future, it's in your next choice, your next word, your next moment of patience, of courage, of effort. But you can't live with purpose if you don't begin the day with purpose. That's why every morning you need to speak to yourself with clarity. Don't wait for motivation to strike like lightning. Create it. Tell yourself, I have a reason to be here. Speak it with conviction. Say it like you believe it, even if your heart hasn't caught up yet, because the more you say it, the more you live it. There will be days when you wake up feeling heavy. Days when the world feels like a weight on your chest. Days when your mind races before your feet even hit the ground. That's when this practice becomes most important. When it's hardest to believe in purpose, that's when you must remind yourself of it. That's when you anchor yourself, not in feelings, but in truth. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to know the entire plan. You just need to know that today matters, that you matter, and you do. You may think your life is ordinary, that your role is small, but you don't see what others see. You don't always realize the impact you make with a kind word, with a brave decision, with the quiet strength you carry even on your worst days. Purpose isn't always loud. Sometimes it whispers, but it's always there. So as your feet touch the floor each morning, anchor your mind. Before you face the world, face yourself. Look in the mirror and declare it. I am alive because I'm meant to be. I am not here to waste time. I am not here to live small. I am here to rise again and again until my breath is no longer needed. And until that day comes, I will rise with purpose every single morning. Every morning, remind yourself, I may not control the storms around me, but I control how I sail through them. Your emotions, your words, your reactions, they are your power, and no one can take them from you unless you hand them over. So you must begin your day with that awareness, before anything else, before the stress builds, before the noise begins. You anchor yourself in this truth. I choose how I respond today. Someone might try to provoke you. Life might present delays. A plan might fall apart. But you are not a puppet to these events. You don't have to react like a machine set on autopilot. You are a conscious, aware, breathing being, capable of pausing, of observing, of choosing. That's your power. That's your freedom. It's easy to react with anger when someone disrespects you. It's natural to feel frustrated when things don't go your way. But natural doesn't always mean right. Growth happens when you stop reacting based on old patterns and start responding based on new wisdom. And wisdom doesn't shout, it whispers, it asks you to slow down, to breathe, to see the bigger picture. And then to respond, not from ego, but from strength. There's a kind of peace that only comes when you realize you're no longer at the mercy of others. That you don't need to argue every time someone challenges you. That you don't need to prove anything to anyone. That silence can be power. That patience can be sharp. That walking away isn't weakness. It's self-mastery. Tell yourself every morning, no matter what this day brings, I will not be pulled out of alignment. Because that's what life tries to do. It pulls at you. It tempts you to forget who you are, to stoop low, to react out of hurt. But your goal is to rise above, not to sink beneath. Your goal is to become a calm center in a chaotic world. And that starts with the first words you speak to yourself at the beginning of the day. Every day, people will bring their energy to you. Some of it light, some of it heavy, but their energy doesn't have to become yours. Just because someone else is bitter doesn't mean you must carry bitterness. Just because the world is noisy doesn't mean you have to lose your inner stillness. Your response is your boundary. Your reaction is your protection. When you control yourself, you're not just avoiding conflict. You're building a life of discipline, one moment at a time. And let's be clear, this isn't about being passive. It's not about letting people walk over you. No. It's about choosing your battles with wisdom. It's about knowing that not everything deserves your energy, your attention, or your peace. It's about knowing that your time is too valuable to spend explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. There is strength in restraint. There is power in choosing peace over drama. There is victory in mastering your reactions not once, but every single morning. Because every day brings a new test, and every day you get the chance to prove to yourself that you are no longer reactive, you are responsive. You are no longer driven by emotion, but led by intention. So as you step into your day, carry this with you. Today, I will not give my peace away cheaply. Today, I choose clarity over chaos, patience over pressure, discipline over distraction, and in that choice, I win before the day even begins. You see, it's easy to look outside for validation, to wait for someone to tell you you're doing well, to hope that others notice your effort, your pain, your discipline. But the real turning point in life, the moment when things truly begin to shift, is when you stop waiting for someone to recognize your value and you begin treating yourself like you already see it. Respecting yourself doesn't mean thinking you're perfect. In fact, it means the opposite. It means seeing clearly where you've fallen short, where you've been lazy, where you've made mistakes, and still choosing not to shame yourself, but to build from that place. It means holding yourself to a higher standard, not because others demand it, but because you know you were created for more. Every morning, remind yourself, I will not stay where I was yesterday. That's what self-respect sounds like. It doesn't need an audience. It's quiet. It's steady. It wakes you up before others. It keeps you going when motivation fades, and it doesn't let you make excuses. Because when you respect yourself, you don't need to be forced into discipline. It becomes your way of honoring who you are becoming. You're not just living through the day, you're shaping your future. Every thought, every habit, every decision you make today becomes part of the person you meet tomorrow. And if you don't choose to rise, if you don't choose to evolve, then you will live the same year over and over again, calling it a life. That's not what you're here for. You were not born to stay stuck. You were not born to settle for survival. You were not born to numb yourself with distractions and call that peace. You were born to become, and becoming takes effort. It takes patience. It takes truth. Real self-respect is looking at the areas where you've let yourself down, not with guilt, but with responsibility. It's being able to say, I did that. I allowed that. But I no longer accept that. You can't grow without discomfort. You can't evolve without discipline. And you definitely can't respect yourself if you keep running from your own reflection. Every time you break a promise to yourself, it hurts your confidence. But every time you keep one, no matter how small, you start to believe in yourself again. Start small if you need to. Wake up on time, make your bed, show up for your goals even when no one's watching. Push through the resistance. Speak kindly to yourself, especially when you're struggling. These are the quiet bricks that build your foundation. Not the loud, flashy victories, but the consistent, quiet moments when you decide, I'm not going backward today. And don't compare your progress to others. That's not self-respect. That's self-sabotage. Your journey is yours. Your pace is yours. Your struggles, your lessons, your timing. They all serve a purpose in your story. Respecting yourself means staying in your lane and showing up for your work, not theirs. So tomorrow and the next day and the next, when you wake up and stand in front of that mirror, don't just see a man or a woman brushing their teeth and going through the motions. See a builder, a fighter, a student of life, someone who knows they're not done yet, but who also refuses to quit. Tell yourself, I respect myself enough to keep rising, to keep healing, to keep sharpening my mind, my habits, and my purpose. And when you live like that, not perfectly, but consistently, you no longer chase validation, you become the proof. This day you're living, this stretch of 24 hours, is not random. It's a deposit into your future. It's an opportunity to invest in something greater than your distractions, greater than your excuses. But the truth is, most people don't treat time like it's sacred. They treat it like it's infinite. They scroll. They delay, they drift, they postpone their purpose because comfort feels easier in the moment. But comfort is a thief. It steals your time slowly, silently, and with a smile. Ask yourself honestly, how much of your time is going into things that truly matter? How much of your day is dedicated to what moves you forward? What makes you stronger? What sharpens your spirit? What builds your discipline? When you start asking yourself these questions, something shifts. You begin to see time not just as minutes on a clock, but as fuel. And once you realize you only get so much of it, you stop pouring it into people, habits, and thoughts that drain you. When you wake up in the morning, you're holding a gift, a fresh start, another chance. But how you treat that chance is entirely up to you. You can spend the morning wandering through social media, reacting to messages, numbing your mind, or you can rise with intention. You can structure your day with clarity. You can choose your focus instead of letting the day choose it for you. Not everything that asks for your attention deserves it. Just because someone wants your time doesn't mean you owe it. Just because the world is busy doesn't mean you have to match its chaos. Time is not just a schedule, it's a reflection of your values. What you give your time to, you give your life to. So if your time is constantly being consumed by things that leave you feeling empty, it's not the world's fault. It's your responsibility to reset. You don't need to be perfect with your time, but you do need to be aware. You do need to pause and ask, what matters most today? Who do I want to be when the sun sets? Because if you don't set that intention early in the morning, life will pull you in 100 directions. And by the time you realize it, the day will be over and you'll have nothing meaningful to show for it. Your goals, your vision, your healing, your inner peace, they're all waiting for your attention, but they can't grow in the background of your life. They need space. They need priority. And that begins with how you structure your time. Not someday, but today. And yes, there will always be distractions. There will always be things fighting for your attention, some loud, some subtle. That's why you must treat your time like a gate. Guard it, protect it. Don't let just anything pass through. Be ruthless with your boundaries, not out of cruelty, but out of clarity. The person you want to become is built in the min. It's most people throw away. The life you dream about is shaped in the hours you protect from waste. The peace you crave is found in the spaces where noise used to live. All of it starts with what you do after you wake up, what you choose to value, and what you refuse to give your energy to any longer. So speak it clearly every morning. My time is not cheap. My attention is not random. My energy is not for sale. I don't have time to waste because my purpose matters too much. And if you live with that awareness, not once, but day after day, you won't just manage time. You'll master your life. There's a fire in you that pain can't extinguish. And every morning before you face the day, you must light that fire again. You remind yourself, not with shallow positivity, but with quiet certainty, I've been through too much to be weak now. I've seen darkness, I've tasted loss, I've felt failure, but I'm still standing, and that means something. That means you've got something inside you that hardship couldn't destroy. That means you've already proved your strength, even if you've forgotten how strong you really are. Life doesn't give warnings before it hits. It doesn't ask permission before it tests you. But here's the truth. Every setback, every betrayal, every failure, it wasn't just pain. It was preparation. You may not have chosen the storm, but you are the one who decided to walk through it and not lie down in it. And that matters. That's what shapes character, not how you avoid pain, but how you respond to it. Being a fighter doesn't mean you're never tired. It doesn't mean you always feel brave. It means you don't quit. It means you keep showing up, even when your confidence wavers. Even when your hands are shaking, even when no one claps for you and no one sees the effort. Because deep down, you know the mission is bigger than the mood. That's what separates those who drift through life from those who build it. Every morning you wake up, you have a decision to make. You can carry yesterday's defeat into today, or you can use today to create a different story. You can let the world define your worth, or you can remind yourself of it over and over until your heart starts to believe it again. Fighters don't wait for easy paths. They walk the hard ones with full hearts, because they know what's waiting on the other side. You have power, not the kind that always shouts or demands attention, but the kind that endures. Quiet, unshakable, grounded power. It's in your ability to stay calm when things fall apart, to forgive when it's easier to hold bitterness, to keep your discipline even when results are slow. That's real strength. That's the strength of someone who's been tested and didn't break. You'll have days when you want to fold. You'll have mornings where the mirror doesn't reflect the person you want to be. That's okay, you're human, but never confuse being tired with being weak. You are not weak. You are simply growing through pressure. And pressure has always been the birthplace of transformation. Tell yourself each morning, I will not be defined by what I've lost. I will not be owned by my wounds. I am not here to be small, silent, or broken. I am here to rise, again and again, no matter how many times I fall. That's the mindset of someone who refuses to give up their future to the pain of their past. And don't expect applause. Don't expect the world to always recognize your resilience. The path of a fighter is often walked alone. But that's where it becomes sacred. because your strength is no longer a performance. It's real, it's rooted, and no one can take it from you. So as you begin your day, carry this with you like armor. I am not a victim of my life. I am the author of what comes next. And no matter what today brings, I will not fold. I will not fade. I will fight because I was born to. Even when life feels silent, even when people fail to show up for you, even when everything around you seems uncertain, there is still something steady beneath it all. Something unseen, something eternal. That presence, that force, that quiet guidance is with you. Call it God. Call it the universe. Call it faith. Whatever name you use, the truth remains. There is something greater walking beside you, breathing with you, holding you up even when you feel like falling apart. Every morning, before you get swept into the noise of the world, take a moment to acknowledge that presence. Not as a ritual, not as an obligation, but as a lifeline, as a reminder that no matter how hard things get, you're not abandoned. You're not left to figure it all out by yourself. You were created with purpose, and you are sustained by something far beyond human strength. And you don't need to see miracles in the sky to believe it. Sometimes the miracle is that you woke up when you didn't want to. Sometimes it's that moment of peace in the middle of chaos, that breath that steadied you when you were about to break, that subtle nudge pushing you forward when you were ready to give up. That's not coincidence. That's presence. That's protection. You don't have to understand the entire journey to trust the path. Faith is not built in moments of comfort. It's built in moments of confusion. When you can't see the way, but you keep walking. When the door's close, but you keep knocking. When the answers don't come, but you keep praying, keep hoping, keep believing that even this pain has a purpose. That kind of faith builds unshakable resilience, because now your strength doesn't come just from your own willpower. It comes from surrender, from knowing you don't have to carry everything, from realizing that being strong doesn't mean doing it all alone. It means trusting that you are being guided even when it's dark. People may let you down, life may not go according to plan, but that deeper presence never leaves. It's there in the silence. It's there in your tears. It's there in the lessons disguised as loss. And if you can wake up each morning and reconnect with that, even for just a few seconds, you'll carry a strength that doesn't shake every time the world does. So before you rush into your day, pause, close your eyes, say to yourself, I'm not walking into this day alone. I'm not facing these challenges in my own strength. I am supported. I am seen. I am loved. Let that truth settle into your bones. Let it breathe life back into your tired spirit. And let it guide the way you move through the world, not with fear, not with panic, but with quiet confidence. Because when you know you're not alone, everything changes. You stop begging for approval. You stop chasing things that drain you. You stop fearing the unknown. Instead, you begin to walk with grace. You begin to speak with clarity. You begin to rise with courage, not because the path is easy, but because you're no longer walking it empty. And even if today brings challenges, even if the answers still don't come, even if the road feels steep, you hold on to that one unshakable truth. I am not alone. I never was. I never will be. And with that truth burning quietly inside you, there's nothing you can't face, nothing you can't rise from, nothing that can truly defeat you.